Good evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And I want to thank in advance all for coming out. And if you have not already, please sign up to speak. And with that, to my right is District 2 County Commissioner Chris Gadway. And to my left is District 1 County Commissioner Mike Hart. And I'm Vice President Steve Weems, at-large Commissioner. And at this point, Counselor.
Thank you, sir. For the record, my name's John Norris. I am the County Attorney for Calvert, and we are here tonight in the Northeast Community Center for a petition that was submitted by the Highlands Homeowners Association in January of 2020. The Board of County Commissioners has the authority under Section 4-101 of the Public Local Laws of Calvert County to create a special tax district at the request of the Board of Directors of a qualifying homeowners association within Calvert County. The allowable uses for the special tax have been limited to infrastructure and roads by practice. It was a piece of legislation that was adopted in 1995 in response to a request from associations that were then not able to get enough financial support to address the issues that they saw within their communities. There is a sign-up table as you came in the room tonight. If anybody here wishes to speak, we do ask you that you do sign up and indicate that you wish to speak as either as an individual or as the designated representative of a group. The Board of County Commissioners in 1989 adopted Resolution 6-89 that addresses the order and decorum and makes sure that those in attendance are able to hear and able to present their own comments. A copy of that resolution is also on the back table and will govern tonight's proceedings. Before I get into it any further, I would ask the representatives of the Homeowners Association to come forward to the microphone to please address the Board of County Commissioners and yourselves who are in attendance here tonight as to why you submitted this petition. Please give your names.
Gavin Bodenhorn, President of the HOA.
George Murphy, Vice President.
So the reason we have filed a petition and asked for the help is we've got failing septic systems in the Highlands, as the county is well aware, and we're looking to figure out a way to, I guess, be able to tap into the sewer system since the lots do not allow for another secondary or tertiary septic system to be placed on the lots. So going back to 2 years ago from when we did the whole initial petition, so we are now here in front of you guys, I guess, trying to figure out the next step.
Thank you. So some of the information we were able to take from the petition is that the Highlands was a community that was first created, it started in 1985, almost 34 years ago. Septic systems, private systems in particular, are slated to last about 25 years according to information from the health department. And of the 229 systems that are in the Highlands, 93% do not meet today's code requirements. 97% are inadequate in tank size or in the size of their drain fields. Many in the Highlands find their sewage is inadequately treated to rising groundwater. There was reference in the petition to groundwater, perched groundwater, having risen 1.6 feet in recent years. And runoff from the failing systems enters the waters flowing through and around the residences and the community. Harmful escape of sewage then leads to surrounding waters, risking human safety, and can close waters to harvesting of fish and shellfish. Nutrients from the oversaturated septic fields and leaking tanks increase algae blooms and also threaten the fish, oysters, and crabs in our creeks, rivers, and bay. And they are pumped out for those that do not have a functioning drain field anymore. The septic tank acts as a holding tank and those are pumped out at a significant cost to the property owner. So you began seeking long-term opportunities, we saw 4 years ago. This petition was submitted almost 2 years ago, to be 2 years in January. Public sewer was identified as a more cost-effective than the initial expense of ongoing maintenance and costs of an innovative system, which is allowed by MDE, but does have a higher cost. Resale and marketability of improved lots connected to the system was considered, and the challenge of bringing public sewer to an existing neighborhood is a cost, and that's one of the reasons this public local law was created. This is not an initiative of the Board of County Commissioners to impose anything upon this community. We understand it is the Board of Directors that's been appointed by the residents of the Highlands that have chosen this is the method you wish to proceed, and we do believe that there will be an opportunity for questions. If we cannot answer those questions tonight, which is more likely than not because it's been quite a few years since I've designed septic systems, I will ask the board if they would please consider leaving the record open to be able to answer some questions and give more information to the Board of County Commissioners as well. So with that, thank you, gentlemen. We do have some folks who have signed up to speak. Jim Campbell, speaking as an individual. Mr. Campbell, there will be a timekeeper to my far left. She will indicate when you have 30 seconds left, and when you see the sign that says your time is up, please wrap up your comments.
Okay. All right. I'm a private person. I'd rather have teeth pulled than get up here and speak in public. But I feel like I got to do it. My name is Jim Campbell. I live at 2810 Tipperary Lane in the Highlands. Been there for 30 years. When I first went to settlement on my house, I paid in full. From the sale of my first home, I got $80,000, and this home cost me $82,000. That's the good news. The bad news, bad life choices, drinking and gambling, and an ex-wife that put me in a great deal of debt. The house went to a mortgage, then a second mortgage, and finally now it's in a reverse mortgage. And the terms of my reverse mortgage are this: that I have to keep up with repairs on the home, that I have to pay my homeowner's fee, insurance, and I have to pay my taxes. So my question to you is this: if I'm unable to pay, and I'm the proverbial turnip, you're not getting blood out of this one, you're not getting dollars out of me, I cannot pay for this hookup. It's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but my income now is totally from Social Security, which is $1,207 a month. That's not much money. I'm barely getting by. I'm going to be unable to pay this, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be homeless. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Amy Jeffries is the next speaker, and I will ask those who have joined us by Zoom, if you wish to provide comment, and I apologize, there's an echo. If you wish to provide comment, please raise your hand and we will get to you very shortly.
Hi, my name is Amy Jeffries. I'm a homeowner. I live on Dundee Lane. I've lived in the Highlands since 1994 with my husband. We raised our children there. I'm 2.5 years from retirement from Calvert County Public Schools, and we'd like to sell our home and retire somewhere. But if we can't pass a septic inspection, or if my home is on holding tanks, then I can't sell it. I can't leave. I can't, or I'll have to sell my house for a song and lose a lot of money, and that really, is an impact for us. I would like to be able to take a hot shower. I would like to be able to flush my toilet every time. It's a real lifestyle cramp to have this looming, ticking time bomb under our house. I have my original septic. It is 34 years old. We baby it like you wouldn't believe. Nothing goes down there that doesn't absolutely have to. And it's been just a constant source of stress. We can't, we don't want to redecorate. We don't want to make improvements on the house that might be worth nothing. And if I sell my house for nothing, everyone else's house is going to be worth a whole lot less. We know someone from the neighborhood right down the street who had to go on holding tanks, and he sold his home at a great loss. So it really diminishes. Now, I completely understand people on fixed incomes and people who have financial issues. So my question would be, how is the money going to work out, and is there assistance for people who would need it? Thank you.
Thank you. So as the letter that went out to the residents indicated, the initial design is going to cost $901 and some change per improved lot within the Highlands. The engineering that would pay for would then inform the design, and from the design, the cost estimates could come in for what the connection costs would actually be. All of those costs will require a second meeting like this and a second public hearing before there could be a levy on the property taxes to assess something different than what is proposed here tonight. It's not $901, thank you, every year. It is only a one-time, or it's proposed to be a one-time assessment on the property tax bill that would be mailed out in July of 2022. And that bill, if it is your primary residence, is paid in 2 installments on September 30th and December 30th of each year. Sure, get closer to the microphone. So the proposal that is on the table from the Homeowners Association is that this is a two-step process. One, to identify what can be done, what it takes to connect engineering-wise, what it takes to connect to the public sewer system. And two, the cost for construction of that connection. So what's before us tonight, before the Board of County Commissioners, is the first part of the petition to do the engineering study and come up with the cost estimate for what it would be to then make the connection. The connection will cost more than the engineering study. I could not even begin to tell you how much more. It would likely be amortized over a number of years, but that is not able to be decided tonight, nor will it show up on anybody's tax bill without a second hearing like this one, with a second letter going to each property owner within the Highlands that would be impacted by a subsequent decision. So what's before us tonight is a $901.40, I believe it's 47 cents assessment, 67 cents on the July 1, 2022 property tax bill for each improved lot within the Highlands. And I believe that's all of the Highlands lots except for, is it 4, Director Dahl? I think it's 4 lots that are unimproved within the Highlands that would not be assessed. So that's what I do know about why we're here tonight. Okay. Mary Bast.
Hi, I'm Mary Bass. I was just wondering, this $901 and beyond, is there any kind of, like the Bay Restoration Fund, we were told, that would help us pay for this or go toward the hookup fee?
One of the questions I'm not going to be able to answer tonight.
Okay.
Bay Restoration Fund grants, I believe, have been put on hold, and they are typically for construction projects. But
What about the new infrastructure that was sent to the county? Have you getting any of that money that was just passed to help us pay for this?
Let me take these questions,
Okay,
and we'll prepare answers.
okay. That's it.
Anything further? Did you have anything else you wanted? Okay. I have Lisa Bloon.
Hello, my name's Lisa. I live in Loch Ness Lane. I know you said you're gonna prepare the answers, but we also have questions over there about asking us to give $900 and some, and you still cannot tell us any kind of idea what this is gonna cost. That's unfair. I mean, that's just common sense. I'm not gonna give anybody $900. You can't tell me what I'm getting into.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
I can't understand you either. Can we start the time over,
Yeah,
please?
I'm having asthma a little bit, so I'm having trouble talking.
Okay.
So I'm saying that you all are still asking for the $900 up front, but we're all sitting over there still saying, you still can't give us an answer. There's something wrong with this. You still can't give us an answer of any kind of idea what this is gonna cost us. Also, I do understand the other people whose septics are breaking down, so I do understand that they need some kind of solution. But then on the other hand, you do have the other people like us who have had to pay over $8,000 for our second septic tank. So we've paid for 1, 2, and now you want us to pay for this. So you have two sides of the coin. You have the people that do need this, which we understand, but you have us who have already put out a second money and now a third. So that's something that needs to be considered somewhere. Hold on a second. Also, we're hearing different conflicting things about if and when this happens, do we all have to hook up? If we opt, we want to answer yes or no. If we don't have to hook up in the beginning, if we choose not to, because we have a new septic, are we going to pay more later on down the road to hook up? Also, is my time up? Also, kind of same thing like her, is there any funds anywhere to get the money, the $900 up front? Also, this isn't really for you, but this is for Gavin.
Just for those who are listening at home or watching the recording later, the question was to the president of the board if there was some way of using existing homeowners'
Yes.
funds
Yes.
to fund the engineering. Thank you. I saw Nicole Seeley has risen her hand on Teams or Zoom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I appreciate hearing the others in the neighborhood that are speaking as well. Just a little bit of background. My husband and I purchased our home on Galway Lane in 2009. In 2018, we attempted to sell our home and our septic did fail inspection. At that time, we said, okay, well, we'll go ahead and put in a new septic system. And then we were told, we were denied that we couldn't do it. We didn't have enough space for the drain fields that it required. We appealed, we paid thousands of dollars for surveyors to come out, soil testers, all the things, and it failed every time. Every time we appealed, we were denied. We were told we'd have to go on holding tanks. Now, we are lucky in that our septic system is not physically failing. So we have been able to have renters live in our home during this time. And, we've still been able to keep that septic system. I'm very much a proponent of trying to get sewer into the neighborhood for a couple of reasons, not just because of our home, but eventually there will be other people that are going to be in the same situation. We have almost an acre of property and didn't have enough land for the drain fields. We don't have a swimming pool. We have a smaller model in the neighborhood. bedroom wise. So the septic system we need might not be as large as other homes. And it's concerning to think about the $900. Yes, I totally agree. But so is $600 to $1,000 a month to pump holding tanks when your septic fails and they don't approve you to put in a new one. So that's my biggest concern, is that added cost. We probably wouldn't be able to afford that, and I don't know that our renters would be able to afford it, nor would people want to buy a home that has that extra utility cost each month. So that was just kind of a little bit about our story that I wanted to share. Now, when we started talking about this years ago, we were told that there would be Bay Restoration Fund grants. I understand if that's been put on hold, but we were told, I think by the health department maybe, that when they came to some of our HOA meetings, that those funds would pay for a great majority of the cost for us to hook up. Now, I don't know that if that has changed since then, but that was something I was kind of hoping for as well. So I'd be curious to hear the answer to that question as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
And Julia, is it Forte? I apologize.
Yes, I am for the septic hookup. Cost is a concern for me, just like it is for everyone else here. My question is, okay, the $900 and some odd dollars, that's for the planning, that we don't have a construction cost. Hypothetically speaking, if we come up with the money for the planning, are you guys gonna cover all of the construction costs? Or you're gonna come back and say, we have to come up with more money to get this done? Secondly, as the young lady asked about the restoration fund, I'm not familiar with that, but are there other grants out there that we could tap into to help with some of this cost? I mean, we can't afford this. Bottom line, it's going to cost us a fortune, but it's something that we need to do. But we need to be comfortable with, okay, if we come up with the $900, this is it. We don't have to come up with anything else.
Ma'am, no ma'am. What this is here, this is, from my understanding, I'm being caught up to speed over the last couple weeks, but no ma'am, you would pay as a group the engineering costs, and later I'm going to speak to you guys about STDs, because my background growing up in Drum Point and Ranch Club, I was there for one of the first ones, and I'll speak to that a little later, but no ma'am, this would just be that. The cost of this system would be on the residents. And now, I can't speak to grants. Maybe somebody from staff would know a little more about grants and the history of the area here with the Bay Restoration Fund, but I'm not aware of any grants or any funding.
Okay, because my understanding is that this would be a health department issue. It's going to come to that because look at the septic. So we're going to have, if we don't get this done, we're going to run into a health department issue. So, I mean, even the health department, grants, look, money is donated, given, however, to the state of Maryland all the time, okay? There's got to be a grant somewhere out there that we can tap into to help with this, even with the $901. It's got to be something that Calvert County can do to help us. It's got to be.
And I don't have that answer. I wish I did. And like I say, I'll be honest with you though, grants are always a partial solution until you would see the scope of this thing, how many millions it is. I've never seen a grant that's 10 million, 15 million, and that's why I don't want to speculate. But I do want to caution everybody, you know, with this is about basically the cost would be on the residents.
So you're saying the whole construction project will be on the residents?
From my understanding.
So if we pay the $901, we get the planning, and this thing, hypothetically speaking, is $5 million, then we have to come up with the $5 million?
That's my understanding, unless anybody knows
So-
anything different. That's
If
my
I
understanding.
could-
Someone needs to give me an answer on this. Can you
From what
please
I've been
explain
told, ma'am, yes.
And I think
From
the
what I've-
answer is that we need to do some more homework because there is clean water, state revolving loan funds. There are grants from the Bay Restoration Fund when they're making those grants. I think this, and with all due respect, Commissioner, but I think this is one where we need to do some more homework and get you the answers, provide the board the answers as well.
Okay, so is someone gonna get back to us with that answer? Because that's a critical issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone is gonna get back with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So the question from the audience was, can we give you an estimate of the cost for another community to do this? And the only one that I'm familiar with was Prospect Bay over in Kent Island. Okay. Short answer is there is no similar project like this within Calvert County or Southern Maryland that I'm aware of. Not to my knowledge, no. No. So I really can't answer your questions without you coming back to the microphone, but let me check and see if there are some more callers on the Zoom call who have raised their hand, or if they're calling in by telephone to the Zoom call, it's *9 to raise your hand. Are there any callers?
Caller Kim Jonas, we are ready to receive your comments. Press *6 to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on Zoom rather than the phone, so *6 won't work. Anyhow, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. I'm a homeowner in the Highlands at 8965 St. Andrews Drive. I've got one of the smaller lots in the neighborhood, about 15,000 square feet, so a third of an acre. Our septic system is failing. We're having to have the tank pumped a couple times a year at this point. And basically, we're limping along by spacing out our showers and laundry loads so we don't put a load on the system kind of back to back. And as long as we do this, we can kind of get through with overflows being rare and minimal, but still it's kind of limping along. We definitely need sewer because we don't have the room in our lot for a new septic field that would be up to code. So yeah, we're for this pretty much regardless, because even if it costs a bunch of money, if we don't have the sewer, then we don't have anything really. So that's where we are. But yeah, we are concerned about the other folks in the neighborhood who might have a little bit of a tougher time paying for their share of the system. And I hope that we can get Bay Restoration Fund grants and so forth, because certainly if people overflow from their standpipes above their septic tanks, then that's going to go into the bay water, and that's not going to be a good thing.
I'm sorry, sir. We could not hear you at the beginning. Could you please restate your name?
My name is Kim Jonas.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the Zoom call that wishes to speak?
Caller 3745, we are ready to take your comments. Please state your name and address and whether you're speaking as an individual or as the designated representative of a group. please press *6 to unmute your phone.
Hi, my name's Kaylee Hegarty. I'm at 2920 Donegal, and I'm just speaking for myself. But my fiance and I literally just moved in, and we don't want to have to be a part of this. We're basically wondering if it is going to be possible to opt out, because obviously, you know, we just bought and we know our septic's fine, so we don't want to be forced into paying for something that we don't need. And that's, you know, our piece of this.
Thank you. So I understand the question to be, is there an opportunity to opt out? And the short answer is that this is a request from the Homeowners Association for all of the lots that are located within that subdivision. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on the Zoom call? Either raise your hand or press *9.
There are no more callers.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Did you sign in to speak? Okay, why don't you come up to the microphone, give us your name.
And if you can people hear you better without the? All right, that's good. Can everybody in the back hear? That's great.
Are there not different types of systems that you put in, family systems, pump systems, where you pump them out into the land? Which I know has been offered to a couple of people, but they didn't want it because it's the ugly side of your property. I do know that. Okay.
Okay, and when it's $900, okay, it's maybe I've misread something, but is it a possibility that we could pay this money for y'all's study? Then the county could say, nope, we can't do it. What happens to our $900? Do we get that back? Do we get any of it back? Or where's it go? Okay. Thirdly, is this system going to be a force main system? Is it going to be a gravity fed system? What kind of system are y'all trying to propose? Yes, I'd like to know, because and third is the pump system, the pump. Who's going to maintain? Are we going to have our own pump? Are we tying into another subdivision's pump? Whose pumping system are we tying into? Because I know when the original meeting, there was 4 different proposals on which way this sewer's going. So are we going to have 4 pump systems that we got to pay for, maintain, and who takes care of that cost? Okay, that's all I have. Okay.
Could I get your name, please?
Richard Croniger, CHRONIGER. Thank you,
sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
So just say this goes forward, and we give you the $900, you do all your studies, and it all goes through and starts to get done. How long does something like this take? 1 year, 2 years? Just a guesstimate.
So,
some kind of
Mr.
guesstimate.
Murphy.
Right?
Yes.
give us your name, please.
George Murphy.
Yes, sir.
I live at 2800 Kill Court. Right now, I'm having no problems with my septic. We get it pumped out regularly. I had kids growing up. I've been there 22 years. I am still worried to death that we're going to have problems. It's not that I'm having problems now. Everybody is eventually going to have this issue. With all the rules that changed, nobody's grandfathered in. You're not going to be able to, if your septic goes out, you're not putting a new one in with the new rules. If we don't get the chance to put this sewer in while we have the chance now, yes, it's a little bit of money investment. When you go to sell your house, the house value is higher with a sewer system. You're either going to pay now or pay later, is the way I'm looking at it. If you know, my septic might last for another 10 years, but when it goes, it goes. There is no second place that you can go get something else. You're pretty much either you got septic, or you got to go to the tank. You're paying $1,000 a month to pump. So you're either going to pay now, or you're going to pay later, but you're going to pay. So I'm all for the new sewer system coming in, even though I do not have problems right now. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, please. Come on down to the microphone, please. And give us your name, please.
We also have a caller on Zoom.
Just to say, there actually was a similar situation before we lived in the Highlands. We lived in North Beach. We were already on sewer, but everyone had separate wells, and the county said no more. So everyone had to hook up to city water. So it was expensive. People had to pay for the digging. People had to pay for the hookup. But what they did, the full construction cost was spread out over years and years in people's water bills. So it wasn't like you had to pay $10,000 immediately. So you did have to pay for the hookup from the street to your home, that you had to pay someone to dig it. But the actual construction and the digging up of the streets throughout the town of North Beach, that was spread out over long payments in your water and sewerage bill. So I'm envisioning something like that. So I know people are panicked. Am I going to have to pay a huge chunk of change, all at once? But I'm just saying things like that do exist. There was no grant. They just spread it out over a long period of time. So it was, an extra $150 a month or a quarter in your bill. So it wasn't like that there was cruelty, you have to pay this now, or, you have no water. So I'm just saying, I think there's probably ways, maybe at the next meeting, could we get the people from water and sewer here also, because they were real helpful when we had the original homeowners meeting. And then we could all get together and get, more questions answered. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, please, if you wouldn't mind giving us your name one more time.
Amy Jeffries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe that was a town project as opposed to a county project. And for construction, I believe that's what's envisioned for phase 2, but it's just not what's before us tonight. And we do have another caller on Zoom.
Lucy R., we're ready to take your comments. Please press *6 to unmute your phone. Lucy R., we're ready to take your comments. Lucy R., are you there?
1358. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi. This is Lucille Rodriguez. Can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay, barely.
That's what we can.
Hi, my name's Lucille. Hello.
Please continue.
Hi, my name. I think I'm speaking through two microphones, so bear with me just a moment. Okay. All right. I believe you can hear me now. My name is Lucille Rodriguez, 2872 Brayburn Lane, and I am for the proposed public works, public sewer in the Highlands. And my only comment is for my neighbors, to consider the future, not only of our neighborhood, but of our bay, and how our scaling systems affect the environment. And I think with everybody's participation, we can achieve this effort.
Thank you. Commissioners, there is a certificate of compliance with the mailing requirements within the record. The hearing has been conducted. This is a petition that's been submitted by the Homeowners Association for the Board of County Commissioners to assist the community in dealing with the issue that's confronting the residents of the subdivision. So to your pleasure as to how you wish to proceed.
Mr. President, I'd like to address that. If I may.
Yes.
Folks, I hate this echo. Can you hear me better if I come up? People online can. Got floodplains everywhere. My folks down in Cove Point, down at the beach, when that tidal surge hit, it's a mess. So, but I will tell you, I hate this. Do you really need this? Online. It's okay, sorry. But STDs, they told us it was 5 years. It's still going. That's proposed. And every few years we move back and we review it. this thing could probably cost $500,000. Well, the paper ran with it, and I was off on the number. You know, I'm not trying to mislead anybody or any, you know, I understand. I will be sitting in your boat. I keep waiting for the one day, like the one caller said, they baby their septic. We do the same thing. You know, we watch how we take showers to run in laundry. I mean, we have the same thing. Me personally, if I could get septic, I would do it, me personally, but my neighbor may be good, you know. So there's a lot of things to think of, and I personally think we need to keep this record open for at least 30 days. I want you folks to really think about what you want to do, and be happy with your decision, because once you make that decision, it's yours. And I don't. Well, that is going to have to come
using this tool, there is not going to be an opportunity for individual properties to opt out. You may. There is no way to reserve, and most of this conversation is happening outside the microphone, so please don't amplify it any further. There is no way to reserve a tap without purchasing a tap, and the county and the town have spent about a year and a half negotiating an agreement whereby the residents of the town will have their tap paid for in a specific way, as well as the residents that are inside the county boundary will. But you can't reserve a tap without buying it. Please. That's the difference between a physical connection and paying the service fee to purchase a capacity, if you will, from the treatment tank. That's the difference between a physical connection to a physical pipe and purchasing the right to discharge into that line. It's part of phase 2 will include purchasing the capacity, the tap fee. The individual property owners purchase their tap. I'm losing track of two different conversations. The property owner is purchasing the tap, the capacity to discharge to the sewage system, the treatment plant. But you don't want to use that tap right now. But
right now it's all or none, correct, John?
Your connection to that system is likely to be very small compared to what it's going to cost to put that main in, the lift stations, the pump stations. Understood. And let's talk about this further, but that's the difference between putting a physical connection in the line versus having to come back and put a saddle later. I'm talking about buying the capacity of the wastewater treatment plant that's run by the town. That's called a tap fee. So let's talk about that after, because
Right, not running from your house, but the system itself, so there's a cost, right.
Understood. Your concern is, can I not connect to that system, pay my fair share of the construction of the line, not connect to that system so that I don't have to pay a sewer bill until my septic system fails? And that's a question I don't have an answer to tonight.
Mr. County Attorney,
Yes, sir.
if I may. I've heard some great comments tonight and some great debate. I've also heard some of the people have said that we as the county commissioners are asking for this money. We are trying to work with the homeowners association, your homeowners association, upon their request for this. And the debate that I've heard tonight amongst some of you is phenomenal. And I would encourage, what I personally would like to do is defer our decision for at least 60 days to allow the HOA to have a good quality meeting and debate amongst all the people in the community that would answer a lot of these questions based on where the $901 that they're asking for us to collect through the special tax district, where that would go, what it would be used for. They're the ones making the request of us. They have a lot of those answers. And in an HOA meeting amongst the citizens of your community, you guys, in a much informal way, can probably get a lot of those answers and help put together an idea of how to move forward after the $901 is authorized, if it is. Can you come to the microphone, please?
Yes. We did have all these meetings at the beginning, but a lot of this stuff, like the $901, was never brought up. We, as homeowners, president and vice president, first time we seen the $901 is on the mailing that you guys sent us. So we had no idea. We had a lot of questions from people about it, but we had no answers because it was brand new to us. So what I would like to propose is to have another meeting like we had before and bring just the right people in to maybe answer some of these questions. We can ask all the questions in the world, but if we don't have nobody to answer them, we're not getting anything out of it. We're just spinning wheels. We have a homeowner association meeting every month. We would love to invite whoever is welcome can come, and if they can answer some questions for us, we'd love that. We just need a contact list to let you know when the meetings are. And I think that's a lot of it. It's a lot of unknown. Everything started 2 years ago, and it's kind of, with the COVID and all that, everything was put on a back burner for 2 years. So we got new neighbors in the neighborhood, didn't know anything about it at all. And then we got neighbors in the neighborhood that's been asking questions, but we had no answers. So if we could get maybe a group of, say, county commissioners, maybe, people that might know more of the answers, that might put a lot more people at ease, knowing we have people that we can, when they ask the questions, we can get the answers back from.
That's very reasonable. Yep.
Mr. Willis?
Good evening, everybody. Mark Willis, County Administrator. So what you're asking for is basically that behind-the-scenes information. We can absolutely do that. And I was part of one of the very first meetings that took place. In fact, we met quite a bit. So, the point is that you're asking questions that we're hesitant to give it to you tonight because you're going to get part of the answer. You want to know if there are grants out there? There may very well be grants out there. You want to know how long it's going to take? You're not going to know how long it's going to take until you get a design. You're not going to get a design until you can pay for a design. You're not going to know how much it's going to cost until you pay for a design? Those are the sorts of questions that we would have to sit down and talk to you face to face again. Your homeowners association meetings are perfect. I've got employees right now that are just chomping at the bit to sign up and come speak to you personally. They're right over there. Well, they're not coming up now. They're going to come at a homeowners association meeting like we just discussed, because that's when more folks might be able to be there in a setting just like this. And what we did was we took down a lot of these questions. We're going to get you a more defined answer, and then we'll bring that to the table. And if there are more questions in, then we're going to go back and refine those questions and get you better answers so that you have absolutely all of the information going forward. I mean, that's the only way that we can do it. When's your next homeowner association meeting? Okay, then we might answer some of them tomorrow night. I don't know. Yeah, no, I got you. Well, I tell you what, I mean, as much as we can be, we're going to be on your schedule. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. I don't know, ma'am, because that hasn't come out yet. So the question is, the new infrastructure bill by the president, when will those funds be available? The reason that we did not allot ARPA money, the rescue money that you've heard about, is that there are so many other ways to use that money that go out to the general public. Everybody, not just one homeowners association, but to entire communities that support the public directly. However, we are looking to use some of that money, but we don't even know how much money we're getting yet. So when we get that brought down to us, we'll brief the Board of County Commissioners, and they will tell us how we can use that. I can't promise you that we're going to be able to use it for the Highlands. Yes, ma'am, you are. But the idea, and I want to be fair about this, when the Board of County Commissioners spend federal grant money or federal monies that are given to us, we spend it on behalf of the largest amount of that population possible. That's not saying that you won't get some. I'm just saying that we look at not private properties, but we look at public properties or items that support the public as a whole. That doesn't mean you won't get any. That's what we look at. The biggest impact with that money that we can make, and we'll certainly look at it. Yes, ma'am. Well, we're certainly working together with the county administrator and the mayor so that we understand how many units are in that particular area owned by the town. So staff is well aware of that. We know how many units are there. When we put that design is going to also cover that as well. Am I correct? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's millions. All right, so I'll tell you, so the question is there an example out here in the county that is similar to what you're doing? I would say it's on a different scale, but I would say that 20 years ago, there was an area in Dares Beach that had a failing area. The state of Maryland stepped in and provided some funding, but again, you still paid that back. So, but we can't give you that until we have to design the system. You have to design the system. I can't tell you what your new car is going to cost until we pick it out and see what the specs are. That's the same thing here. I can't tell you what this design is going to cost. Man, what are you asking? That's what the $900 is for that we're talking about.
So we have an.
Are you talking a basic average or a basic estimate? That's just, yes. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, it's not designed by the county. This is your request for your system. So we have to get funding from here to pay for that basic design so that we can create? Sure, we would. Yeah, we would use the county procurement process to get the most qualified engineers for the best price is what we would be looking for. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. The $900, yes ma'am, the question is that $900 is gonna help us, it's gonna help them, help you get to a point where an engineering firm is gonna sit down and they're gonna draw a system. Sir, somebody's question here was, is it gonna be gravity, was it gonna be pump, how was it getting from A to B, or A to Z maybe? And yes, it's a combination of all of that possibly. It's gonna be, that's what the $900 will do. They're gonna design that system. Some of it's gonna be grinder pumps to pump it downhill up to a gravity line that's gonna send it down to a pump station that's gonna pump it the rest of the way. That's how the system works. That's what the $900 does. It tells you exactly how we're gonna get it from each house, size of the line from the house, to the conveyance line, to the pump station, the cost of the pump station, to the plant. That's what it's gonna do. That's what the $900 will do. And I'm going to tell you that that's an estimate because nobody knows exactly what it's going to cost until they start doing that. But that's what the $900 does. And after that, yes ma'am, after that, what that does is it's going to give us a set of plans that we can then send out to those folks that would actually build this, and they're going to give us a cost to build that system. That's what the $900 does. Yes, ma'am. Oh, all right, I'll take that. Yes, ma'am. So, but back to the question of do we have an example, not one that matches this? No. Yes, sir. How many in Calvert County? So, yeah, so the county has done a plan to look countywide at all the different issues that we're having with failing septics. And we have an entire map of failing areas. The entire Chesapeake Ranch Estates is pretty much failing. And the problem with that is the lots are so small that when the system fails, there isn't another place to go. And maybe there is for 20% of them, but for most of them, there's not. So, but that's at the other end of the county. There are areas in Dares Beach. This is happening all over. It's not getting better. I'm not trying to talk you into it or out of it. I'm just telling you reality. The reality is Calvert County, in most cases, is a horrible place to dig a septic system today. Yes, ma'am. Well, one, I don't know when I'm getting that money, and I don't know how much of that money we're getting. Yeah. Okay. I hope so. Well, when I get the actual federal document that tells me how I can spend that money, then I can look at that and I can say it's going to pay for stormwater management, it's going to pay for road improvements, it's going to pay for water towers, it's going to pay for all these other entities. Now the idea is that it's going to tell us what we should appropriate that money towards by priority. And it might say put it towards something that's going to help the largest majority of the public. but it may tell me that we can spend that on assist private resident connection. Well, it's an HOA issue as well. Yeah. You don't want the whole wagon? All right. So I got you. I know you are. We're going to reserve some place on that wagon some way. We always try to do that. I mean, seriously, we do. I worked in water and sewer before I moved around the county, so I understand the headaches. I had that gentleman's job over there. I understand the headaches, and I understand the frustration that comes with this. The issue is I can't tell you how we're going to use that money until the money actually comes out with the government telling me how I can use it. So when that comes out, we'll look at it and we'll prioritize that money. And let me tell you, I had $18.9 million. I get it over 2 years. There was $110 million of my staff wanting to spend that $18 million. No, I wouldn't say don't count on it, but I would say that. Yes, ma'am. So different grants come down different ways, but in most cases, it will pass through the state and then down to us. But sometimes it's direct to different agencies, but in this case, it'll be passed down through the state to the county. County commissioners will be given X dollars, and they'll look at staff, and they'll say, do you want to put more money to the Harriet Elizabeth Brown Community Center that's now estimated to be $10 million? Or do you want to put it to a new water tower? Or do you want to put it to more behavioral health in the schools? Because that's what that ARPA money did. The ARPA money paid for some stormwater. It paid for EMTs to be able to go out and get sick folks that had COVID-19. That's what it pays for. So it pays for A to Z. And we have to say, as a political body, and I'm not a political person, I just work for them. I work for you, actually. My point is that we're told how we can spend it, and we prioritize it the way that we feel it's best going to support all citizens of Calvert County. Maybe the right time will be to support a large HOA. If they come out with an environmental bill 2 years from now that says we're doing nothing but fixing septic systems, that's even better. What the commissioners are asking you to do is to take, I believe the last I heard was 60 days, and to talk among yourselves, talk with staff, and to figure out exactly, so that you know exactly where you are and where you need to go. And when you figure that out, we want to help you get there. But it's an HOA initiative. We're here because you asked us to be here, and we want to fix it. And here's why. Calvert County had a 0.46 growth. We don't want to grow more than that. We'll take less growth if we can do it. But the bottom line is we don't want to lose people. We want you to stay here. But if your houses are going to fail, the value of the county goes down. We don't want the value of the county to go down. So it behooves us to help, but it is such a big picture to look at when you're in their seat, spending $18 million, 110 million different ways. It's tough. I'm not saying we won't get there. I'm saying we've got to look at all the options, and we'll bring staff, and we'll answer the questions, and if we don't know the answer, then we'll go back and we'll get the answer. But you're going to get the correct answer when we give it to you. Otherwise, you're getting false information. I think we've done these folks behind me, not counting the commissioners, but these folks behind me have been taking the questions down. We're going to go back and we're going to figure out the answers to those questions. We're going to write it down. We're going to come back in front of you. We're going to say, these are the questions you asked. These are the answers to those questions. What additional questions do you have? And in the 30 days, you can continue to send us questions. Now, if you want that to happen by tomorrow night, it's not likely. If you want to call a special meeting 2 weeks, well, maybe after Christmas, maybe New Year's Eve party right here, all right? But my point is give yourself a little bit of time. Tomorrow night truly is not likely. But give yourself a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And let us come back, give us more questions if you have them, and we'll answer those questions. I will be with staff when they come here, and we will stay here till we get everything answered. And they may not be the answers that you want to hear, but at least you're getting the accurate answer. Yes, ma'am. Do you have all the questions in your pocket? I have those. I want to make sure. Well, I don't think we need necessarily 2 weeks. I just want to make sure that we have all the questions that you might come up with. Yeah. And we might not. And we'll do that. We'll come back as many times as we have to come back to answer all the questions. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the question is, when is the last time that we, the county, has, or I got you, but you're directing at me now, so we, the county, have actually looked at what is the water table in Calvert County, but specifically the area, the geographical area around the Highlands. And I got a guy that sits over there that's going to be two guys sitting over there. One's from the state and one's from the county. And we pay money to have water table studies done every year. And we should have that information, and that'll be one of the things we bring back to you. Okay, we'll give you a graph. The question is can we show a graph for the last 10 years? The answer is yes. No, we can't. What else? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I don't know. I want to tell you, give you a number. Oh, Okay, so the question is, what's the number? Remember, that's what the $900 helps us to get to, right? To create a plan that then we can then have a dedicated engineering firm, not county employees, by the way. This is a third party engineering firm, look at it and tell you it's going to cost this to move this material from each of these houses to that water treatment plant way over there. That's what they're going to tell you. When we determine that from that study, right, and that estimate, then what we're going to say is that is X amount of money divided by 243, somewhere around there. What is it? 234? Okay, so divided into 234, that's a big number. Now, then you're going to take that number and you're going to say, well, that's that's too much money per year, so can we do it over 5 years? Can we do it over 10 years? Can we do it over 15 years? And that's what's gonna tell you how much you're gonna have to pay each year. But you'll know that upfront cost right away. It's just how long you have to pay it is what you're gonna find out. It is transferred with the property. It never leaves the property until it's paid for. Why would it not transfer with the property? Unless you want to take it with you. When you sell your house, the people that buy your house continue paying it. They continue paying on the property tax. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Well, that's something that we would have to look at. So the question is where does the money come from that you're going to pay on at least it's normally in your tax bill. That is normally in your tax bill. Yes, ma'am. Additional questions? All right. Understood. So in fairness to the commissioners, you have to you understand how this process works, right? The process works by you have a problem. You want to fix the problem. How do you fix the problem? You bring staff in and they work with you to get you to this point. Now, it's not that the Board of County Commissioners hasn't heard about it. Certainly they've heard about it. And I think since I was brought in the first time, this is a new board. This is a new board. So the idea is you get them to this point where you are right now. You have their full attention from what I can see. This is when you kind of get everything moving forward. It's at your request. We're here because you finally got to the point where you want to do, at least consider doing a tax. No running in the gymnasium. Yes, sir. So the question is when we pick the engineer that would end up doing the work, we have a process, very good procurement process. It's the lowest responsive vendor. That means that they might hit all the wickets, but when we do the reference checks, there are no good, some of the references are bad. So we obviously, they might be the low bidder, we're not likely to pick somebody that has really bad references or that gave somebody a bid of X dollars, but they charged in the end X, Y, and Z. We're going to take a look at that as well. So we look at it, and we actually create, on something like this, we create a small committee of professionals within the county, and we pick it apart. And when we do that, we work with our procurement officer, and our county attorney, and we make sure that everything that we're doing is legal first, and then we try to pick the best responsible bidder to do it. It's not always the lowest, because they don't always do the best work, but we try to get there. Yes, sir. So, so the question is, when we start to do this work in the future, what is the process? Is it turnkey? So the reality is the county owns the road, so the county's gonna make sure that whoever comes in and does this work, that if they have to do an open cut, that they will fix that open cut. When they can bore under the road, and that's the best way to do it to have the least impact, then that may be what we require or what they recommend. So it'll be a combination of everything that works best to get to the door so that you're able to flush and make it go away. I didn't hear you, sir. So here's the thing, when you join the system, you are, except for the ones that are in the town center, you are now customers of that gentleman over there. We, meaning the county will then be responsible for the maintenance of that system, the pump station, everything from the edge of the road on, from where you have, that's right. So you won't be out there hopefully tinkering around with the line if there's something wrong with it. Understood. Look, I understand the frustration. I mean, but what the commissioners are trying to do is to get you to the point where there's a better understanding. We understand that you need a more focused, up-close discussion with staff answering these questions. And then at the proper time, we will ask the commissioners to come back before us and move us to the next responsible action. So, Michael, I guess, we got you.
Mr. Willis.
We need a motion tonight.
So, with that, if, as long as there are no additional questions, we'll go ahead and, with the president's permission, we will go ahead and close this out, and then we'll wait to hear back. You've got my card. You can contact me directly, and we will set something up. And that's one of the questions that we'll capture, and we'll come back with that answer. All right. On behalf of, I will turn it, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams, I'd like to make a motion to defer a decision for a minimum of 60 days, contingent that the HOA meets to include our staff and our public works to be in attendance during that meeting.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Any further discussion? None being heard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 3-0. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. And I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a motion that passes. Thank you again, and Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.